Hi Gemini, welcome to your April 2019 astrology and tarot reading, looking at the month ahead for Gemini Sun, Moon and Rising. So Gemini, from the very first day of April, Mars will be in your sign and it will be there all month. Now what Mars does when it's in your sign, because Mars is a pushy, forceful energy. Usually when you have some degree of excess energy or your thoughts are most directed to something. If you look at the sky, you see that Mars is indicating what that is. Now, Mars usually lasts about a month or two, usually about a month and a half in a particular sign. And when Mars is in your sign, it is a big green light. So you can exert yourself this month through very strong ideas, through strong willpower, getting what you want using your powers of persuasion, which oftentimes comes very naturally to Gemini. You're gifted orators, you're gifted communicators. You have ideas and you're not afraid to express them and contemplate them and challenge them all in the public eye. The most outspoken sign that we see in the media is always Gemini. In fact, your third house energy, you are the media. You are the voices that are the loudest a lot of the times in terms of saying what may be unpopular or what may not be received so well. And that's okay. It's the people that speak their truth oftentimes get the ball rolling. So to have Mars here rules your personality, your temperament, and your overall attitude towards life. You may be putting more energy into the way you see life or getting, this real injection of energy into your momentum, into your experience day to day with what you're choosing to do, where you're choosing to put your energies. And it's a great season to be kind of selfish because it is Aries season. And when it's Aries season, people are naturally more selfish. And with Mars in Gemini, everybody gets a taste of what it's like to present your ideas in such a way that they garner attention. With the Sun, New Moon, Mercury and Venus all joining the 11th this month at some point. Different times, so the New Moon is on the 5th of the month. It's all happening in your 11th house. And it's a good time to admit that you do need people to have a fulfilling experience. It's a wonderful time for group activities, socializing, connecting with others, networking, finding group dynamics, group values, joining together and things. In fact, it all comes into the bracket of being able to develop your ideas and convey them with confidence. Now that your ruler Mercury is no longer in retrograde, you don't feel that stall when you come to express an idea or you want to say what's on your mind. You don't feel that stammer come through because Mercury, Gemini, it all rules the voice, So sometimes when we see a retrograded Mercury, it can indicate a stammer, for example. So not being able to put everything out with ease comparatively. Consider the relationship between your inner self and the society around you. Your vibe attracts your tribe, so look to the people around you. There's this expression that says you're only as good as the 5 people you spend your most time with. Could you do with branching out and meeting more inspirational people if you feel a bit stymied, if you feel like you're not connecting with your group? It's a great time to reach out and meet new people, find new challenges. You may also, with Venus in this side of the sky, it comes here on the 20th, you may fall in love with a friend. It happens. You may find true love is right within your community and you didn't even see it. Oftentimes with Geminis, friendship is one of the first things. In fact, for air signs in general, friendship is one of the first things that takes your heart. So in current relationships where there's struggles, look to where you would respond to a friend rather than a lover. And that might be a key in what it is to solve it, because Jupiter's going to retrograde in your sign of partnerships for the next few months. For the next 123 days, I find that quite a funny number, 1, 2, 3. So it, just by signs, I think it could be quite simple in many ways. The solution to the problem that seems complicated will always be quite simple. Bear that in mind. Clint Eastwood's one of the Geminis that said, "I don't believe in pessimism. If something doesn't come up the way you want it to, forge ahead. If you think it's going to rain, it will. So what you're focusing on and the way that you're pushing yourself, as he said, forge ahead is important. Forge ahead with positive energy, with positive ideas, with confidence. You're going to have that this month. You're going to have that ability to forge ahead. Particularly when it comes to career and it comes to finances, or when it comes to your relationship with an earth sign, Knight of Pentacles, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Ooh, Capricorn energy strong. The Devil. Mind on your money. The Devil can warn you of obsession with the material. With the Nine of Wands, you're putting in a lot of effort into work, into your career, and you're wondering if you're getting everything out of it, or you're trying to impress people that don't matter. Aha, the Fool. And the Five of Wands. You cannot prove that you're carefree by constantly worrying about it. Nine of Wands in the Fool is not being willing to give up on something, yet ironically taking a new approach, taking a new activity on, or taking on something new in general is what's going to release you from that strain. And other people may find that challenging. Other people might find it a bit... They might not be so happy with the outcome. Page of Swords, Five of Cups, the Two of Cups, and the Six of Pentacles. Two of Cups and the Six of Pentacles. If you want love, you have to give love. If you want more love, you have to give more. That's the key. That's the key to your relationships. So with Jupiter, the Great Benefic, going retrograde in your partnership sector with Mars being in your first. Mars opposing Jupiter. Yin and Yang. Partnerships. Balance. The Six of Pentacles has those scales because it shows that you need to have equal give and take. Very, very common theme actually in astrology readings and tarot readings, because balancing out things in life is key to feeling like you're getting somewhere. You have two shoulders. If you put all your baggage on one shoulder, you're going to be lopsided, and it's going to be more of a struggle, because equal weight will keep things going smoother. You are the sign of the twins. You do have that duality. So when you come up with a partnership, it can take a little bit longer to get that going. It's interesting though, Geminis as a pair, Geminis and Pisces. The Gemini-Pisces relationship is always kind of, it's not recommended by a lot of people. And I think it's because the emotional expression is so different. But when you think about the duality, there's a common thread running through there. So if you're dealing with a Pisces or even another Gemini, there is actually going to be some kind of balance, because you're both going in different directions. With Mercury being retrograde in Pisces, there has been this back and forth and this mental fog and confusion. And it's only when we decide to give selflessly does everything become a lot easier. Now, I take you back to that Clint Eastwood quote, and I did pick that for a reason. Because Jupiter and Sagittarius are very expansive, very positive energy. When it's retrograded, it goes internal. So your viewpoint on the world is going to determine what does expand. And Geminis can naturally be quite optimistic, but they're also very logical to an extent, okay? Your faith is going to be what generates a bigger income, if that's what you're looking for, especially if it's financial and romantic. Faith in what you have, gratitude for what you have, is going to expand it. That's a common principle of the law of attraction. You all know that. But you're doing it well in April. With the Five of Cups, as you can see him turned away from these two cups that are behind him, the Five of Cups is all about perspective. He has these 2 cups still standing, and then it's followed by the 2 of cups. So there's romance here, or love. There is some kind of love that's being offered to you, which will give you a lot. It will be very fulfilling. And he's crying over the 3. So when you're coming up against a challenge that you can't let go of, that you can't stop obsessing about, because this devil energy is obsessive. And the 9 of Wands is the resistance. So what you resist will persist. And if you're constantly trying to focus on the problem, the solution oftentimes gets further and further and further away. It's only when you detach and you step back that you see you actually have all the tools that you need. You know, Gemini is the magician. And although that card hasn't come up, when we have the Fool, he's holding all the signs of the zodiac in his hand. So he possesses all of the qualities that he needs. He can draw on each sign as it presents itself in the sky. So actually having a little look into astrology might not be such a bad thing, Gemini, because Uranus is moving into that 12th house arena that rules astrology. Do you know what I mean? That spiritual understanding. You can draw a lot from other people, very different people this month, in a way that will assist you in making a grand decision. Now, one thing I will say, Mars in your sign, 5 of Wands and the Page of Swords. This is you being kind of pushy. This is you being kind of forced to be reckoned with, that aggressive Mars energy direct, but it can also mean that you're quite cutting. You will probably say a few things this month that people don't like. And in some cases, you're then upset when people challenge you or their feelings are hurt. So just be careful with what you put out to people, because it probably will come back to you, and it may come back to you in a way that's that little bit less well-intentioned. You know, you could be putting out something with good intentions of advice. It might not be welcomed so much, is all I will say on that one. Actually, I noticed that underneath we have the Ace of Swords, so do remember it is a double-edged sword. Now, in terms of the signs, if you're dealing with a Capricorn and it's starting to feel very heavy, and it's starting to feel very restrictive, or it's obsessing, maybe they're obsessing over you, you're obsessing over them. With Capricorn, the energy seems to be kind of heavy. The solution to this is to be playful, to be banterful, to be lighthearted. The Fool is all about being fun, having a little bit more lighthearted tete-a-tete, like conversations. The 5 of Wands is oftentimes banter, you know, flirtatious banter, if it's not disagreements. Because the 2 of Cups as the final card with the 6 of Pentacles, it indicates this beautiful connection, you know, a love that is giving, a love that is pure. But for some reason, you don't see it until the last minute, Gemini. So I think that is probably because, and we will go more into this in the mid-monthly, but the full moon in Libra is a blue moon. And as you know, Libra is your 5th house of playfulness, creativity, fun, romance. And it's perfect actually to see the Fool here, because the Fool generates that type of fun, that naivety, that expansive, carefree energy. The more carefree that you are, the more lighthearted that you are this month, the more things flow. 2 full moons in your romantic sector. Now bear in mind it's romantic, it's not partnership. They're 2 very different houses actually, but they are similar in the sense that they talk about the love relationship. So if we're talking about that 5th house energy, you did have a full moon in March in Libra, and it was in the 1st degree. So this is in the 29th degree. So you'll see that there is some kind of progression from one full moon to the next in your romantic sector. Or if you're a creative Gemini, if you make your living through your creations, letting go of the obsession, whatever it is that's weighing heavy, whatever it is your vice is, with the devil here. Perhaps it's Saturn, because Saturn is going to be squaring off with this full moon in Libra. And Saturn, Gemini, is of course in Capricorn, which is the 8th house. You may find reason to be jealous. You may seek reason to be jealous. And with these two squaring off, it's kind of imperative that you let go a little of what it is that you think you know, because you could be wrong. The first time around, the full moon in your partnership sector, in your romantic sector, consider what the themes were. On the 19th of March, what were the themes? 5th house energy, creativity, the arts, where you're your most creative, your fun, your pleasure, your attitude towards love, children, the physical act of love, all comes into focus. And the answer is so clear. It's all about giving more. Whether you have to give your opinion, whether you have to give your feelings, what you have to give to this person. There's a romantic gift coming out of this month, which is so fascinating, because the 8th house is actually one of the more intimate houses in astrology, when you think about it. It's more the primal life force, your deepest urges, and it's when you go soul searching to figure out who you truly are, and it's intense. And yes, it can be very jealous. It can make you feel more deeply connected, profoundly connected, and it can feel very intense. Until then, because that full moon's very hard to escape the intensity, try to remain lighthearted, because although there may be points in this month where you can't see your own personal power, your own personal appeal, it's there. You're going to be charging forward, and it's only in hindsight that you're going to see how powerful you actually were. With Mars in your sign, you're a dynamo. And then that full moon, the romantic energy, the 8th house energy, deep, obsessive energy coming up. Embrace it as something new. If you're single, by the way, the 2 of Cups can indicate some sort of romance coming in while you're heartbroken. So those of you that are recently split, it kind of looks like there's an offer coming in, because the 3 cups that spilled on the floor is when you're upset, and it's, for a lot of you, it's kind of like love coming in from right under your nose. You didn't spot it before, and maybe the full moon illuminates that love that you didn't see. Maybe, just maybe, thinking about it, maybe all of a sudden you realize that you are in love with a friend because you get jealous when they go off with somebody else. Love might surprise you this month. Love might surprise you a lot, especially if it's with a Capricorn, especially if it's with a fellow air sign, a Libra, an Aquarius, or another Gemini. The best way to work through this is to be giving without the need to receive. And you're going to get deep in it, Gemini. But it'll be interesting. You'll learn something. You'll experience something. And with Mars in your sign, there's not a lot this month that you can't accomplish. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you want to join me on the Vimeo readings and go into each element individually, so if you're dealing with a water sign, a fire sign, an air sign, or an earth sign, we go into them more in depth there. And if not, I will see you in the mid-monthly readings for April to go more into this romantic but kind of challenging, very intense blue moon in Libra, because it could possibly turn things in a way that you really didn't expect. And I think that's a good thing, but we'll see. We'll go into that more in the mid-monthlies, Gemini. I love you all very much, and I'll see you in the next set. Bye.